We can do well. You come next in August. You come with us to Hobbs for dinner.
I'd like to do Hobbs.
Okay. So, anyways, back to this. It is, guess what? Free admission. There are free hot dogs. There are free drinks. You just come in and bring your blanket or your lawn chair, and come and enjoy the evening from 7 to 9. Free. Did I say free? 613 Martin Place. That's pretty close to the intersection of Prospect and Michigan Avenue.
Ypsilanti.
Okay? Ypsilanti, just north of Michigan, off Prospect, is Martin Place. You can see the church from the street, from Prospect. Hey, join us and have some fun. This is not a religious event. This is something we're doing to provide for the community.
Yeah, big band. Big bands. It's funny. The older you get, all of a sudden that music that Mom and Dad used to listen to sounds pretty good.
I used to go to the Spaghetti Bender when I was younger, and every now and then a big band would play their Park 7-7.
Yeah.
And, I missed them. And so that's why I love listening to these guys.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, well, we're going to get back to, let's start with a little Democratic infighting, which I kind of enjoy. We knew this election cycle would be fun. And the four freshmen, what does Gruber call them? But anyways, the four freshman troublemakers in Congress. And that's Ayanna Pressley, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, right?
Mm-hmm. The squad.
The leftist squad?
Yeah,
whatever you want to call them, right? The squad. Anyways, Nancy's not very happy with them because they're saying bad things about moderate Democrats. Say what you want. A moderate Democrat is not a bad person, right? I mean, it's not my cup of tea, but
like an entry drug.
the gateway to socialism.
That's what I was saying. The gateway drug to communism. A moderate Democrat.
Derek, you got track one ready? Let's play that.
Nancy Pelosi does not want people in the Democratic caucus in the House criticizing each other. And she is going to deliver that message by criticizing members of her own caucus. She says, this is from, by the way, from the Washington Post, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi admonished Democrats for personally attacking one another, warning in a closed-door meeting Wednesday that the party's fracturing was jeopardizing its majority. Without naming names, her target was clear, the four liberal freshmen known as the Squad.
Yeah. So, and here's, frankly, this is what I'd like to see.
They're women of color. A very, very light kind of coffee and cream color, you know?
Yeah, it's frankly, and they're not backing down.
No.
I'll give them credit. They went in the breach because, you know what, they're doing probably what I would do if I, God forbid, I was ever a congressman. The Paul Ryans and the Mitch McConnells would not be happy with this guy. There would be no committees for Gary because they'd be trying to push me into the corner. But you know what? I'd be the guy on all the talk shows being a complete raging lunatic telling him the truth. And so, not that these four are telling the truth. Maybe they're in their own minds, their skewed worldview, they're telling the truth. But
speaking the truth to power.
I guess. But AOC responded. She didn't back down from Nancy. She went right back. Derek, you got track two ready? Play that.
It's singling out four individuals. And knowing the media environment that we're operating in, knowing the amount of death threats that we get, knowing the amount of concentration of attention, I think it's just worth asking why.
Do you think she has racial animus? Is she racist?
No, absolutely not.
No, absolutely. She might as well have just been nodding yes while she was saying it. That was as phony as it gets. So she's now calling the upper echelon of the Democratic Party racist as well as the Republicans. Mm-hmm. Well, good for you. Knock yourself. I want to see the Democrat Party needs to split. If there's going to be any saving of the Democrat Party, they need to split. They need to have the communists, the radical extremists, the Muslims, whatever you want to call them.
And then the other five.
Is there any blue dogs left?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think there are a couple who consider themselves blue dogs. Biden probably considered himself a blue dog until he found out it was politically poisonous not to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? A moderate Democrat who all of a sudden has to say, oh, Medicare for all.
His wheels came off on one side because he's pulling so far left.
Yeah.
It's just
There's
insane.
No There's no getting back in the center lane.
Because if he tries to go back to the moderate side, should he win a primary? And I don't think he will at this point. I think
we
he's
have
done.
video.
Yeah, he will be cooked. So I think, And I believe the mainstream media, the Democrat Party itself, is going to push Joe under the bus. He's not going to make it. They're going to get rid of him one way or the other, don't you
they're
think?
talking. I hope it's an autonomous bus so that the driver is not traumatized.
Yeah, well, it's strange to see the Democrats infighting the way they are, just because they jump on the same ship and they're always pulling in the same direction no matter what. So this is unusual for the Democrats. To their tribute, they normally all pull together no matter what. They're good for it. So it's interesting to see this fracturing happening now.
Well, Nancy's trying to keep the party cohesive, and like she said on some interviews, and then there's those 5 or 4, whatever they are. And then that's where Ocasio comes out and she says, I can understand the speaker trying to protect the moderates from a lot of attacks and so kind of holding us at arm's length. But then all of a sudden, now it's appearing that she's just singling us out, us women of color.
Yeah. I want to see.
That's a racist concept right there. No, it's not your color, it's your ideology.
It's your crazy ideology.
Yeah, exactly.
I want
nothing
to
to do with your color, moron.
I want to see where Maxine Waters and Sheila Jackson Lee, right? Sheila Jackson Lee fall out on this because they're oddly quiet. The same with that Al Green, the congressman. He's a loony guy too.
Yep.
I'm not seeing
a number of them.
I'm not seeing anybody. All those kind of stable figures of the Black Caucus in Congress siding with these four.
You said stable, and you did mention Maxine Waters. Now, that sums it up right
maybe
there.
The wrong word.
No. She's the most stable. Between her and Pelosi, the most stable members of the Democratic Party. Yes.
All I can say is this. The Democrats really are pulling so far. And maybe it's a good thing because the gloves are off. The mask is off. The curtain's been drawn back. We are now seeing Democrats for what they really are. And I think you're seeing this in all this testimony and everything else going on. Can you wait for Mueller?
Oh, well, I don't know, man. I mean, it's
he's not going to step anywhere above. I think they're grooming. He's probably grooming his answers because he's probably told them, listen, this is what I'm going to say. I'm sticking
they
right
have
to
been
the thing.
grooming him. There have been meetings, closed-door meetings, where they've been talking to Mueller about what he's going to say.
Yeah.
Just like wrong in the first place.
Right. So they're trying to find a way. It's the theatrics of it all, right? Because he's not going to come up with anything new. There's no way he's coming up with anything. What's in the report is what he's going to back up, and they can try and soften the blows or whatever.
They need to push it back to like August of next year because it'll keep the issue alive, right? That's what they're trying to do. Well, let's push it back another week. It keeps it in the news. Ooh, what's Mueller going to say? What does he know? Or like Dave called, was it Dave who called from California? That was
Dave was one of the guys.
Yeah,
Dave and Paul.
Yeah. And Dave was the one who said, then we'll find out what Putin really has on Trump. I'm sorry, Dave. Putin doesn't have anything on Trump.
No. I can tell you right now, Putin would rather be dealing with Hillary Clinton because you know what? Bill Clinton slept in his DACA. He paid him $500,000 for his speech. Hello.
And if Bill had anything, if Putin had anything on Trump, he'd have given it to Bill, and they wouldn't have had to go with the phony dossier, right? The Steele dossier. They'd have had the real stuff.
Yes, absolutely. Let's take a call from Gary in Hazel Park, who wants to talk about Democrat hypocrisy. Gary, welcome to the show.
Hey, brother. You know that the Democrats are all up there saying that they love America, and they're just like us, except for they want fascism and socialism. Other than that. But then they go on and say, how all of you illegal aliens out there, you're going to get raided this weekend. Here is how to avoid being thrown out of our country. That right there in itself proves that they have no interest in the rule of law or making sure that the census is accurate in regards to how many citizens are in the country. They don't care about any of that. They just want to flip Texas, flip Louisiana and Florida and any other state they can so that they can have perpetual power for the next 100 years or so.
Yeah. So hold on, Gary. I'm going to jump down to track 6. Derek, you got track 6 available? This is Nancy Pelosi, and you're talking about the Democrats, frankly, I think, breaking the law by trying to stop ICE from doing their job. Go ahead and play track 6 and listen to what Nancy herself is doing.
The events that I've been going to recently in Queens and other places, but the Queens one was specifically geared to the census. And then the raids emerged as part of that discussion. I read them this card. An ICE deportation warrant is not the same as a search warrant. If that is the only document ICE brings to a home raid, agents do not have the legal right to enter a home. If ICE agents don't have a warrant signed by a judge, a person may refuse to open the door and let them in. An administrative order of removal from ICE or immigration authorities is simply not enough. Families belong together. Everyone in our country has rights.
Bear with me a second here. I was once in a judge's chambers after a case I was a member of a jury of, and it was a really bizarre case. I'm going to write it up someday because it's a really interesting story. But the defense attorney was a public defender, and we realized that there were grounds for a retrial based on the weirdness of the trial. And this public defender turned to us and says, "Oh, yeah, he definitely has grounds for a retrial. But do you think I'm going to tell him that? I'm not under any obligation to tell him that." And I'm thinking, well, he wasn't. He's no longer his representation. Why does Nancy, everything Nancy said was true, okay? Everything she said was true. She wasn't advising them to break the law, but she was advising them to thwart the law. That's why tell them don't come to the door.
Yeah. So what?
Well, wait. I think she was advising them to break the law because these people are already under deportation orders. If you're already under orders,
but you have to have a search warrant. You have to have a search warrant to get in the door to execute that warrant.
But let me ask you this: is she aiding and abetting them by giving them legal advice?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
She's aiding and abetting. That's not illegal.
The other way. Yeah.
Okay, that's a technicality. No. You're right. I mean, it wouldn't fly.
It sounds like aiding and abetting. And the scariest thing is
interfering with the officers of the law also.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing. Nancy Pelosi read this card to some illegal immigrants, telling them this is how you thwart the law, not obey the law. And you know what? She's third in line to be president of the United States.
Yeah, scary. Gosh. Hey, Ed, the Democrats, the socialists, have really twisted my mind on what free means. So how much is that free concert going to cost?
Yeah, I know. I thought of that the whole time I was saying that. You know, it's. They say there's no such thing as a free lunch, and yet you come tonight, you'll find out. We're not gonna brainwash anybody. We're just gonna. Oh, there will be, what do you call that? Subliminal stuff in the music. Yes, there'll be subliminal stuff in the music.
Question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You're going to have a citizenship question?
Oh, but it'll be subliminal. You'll never notice it.
That's right. Well, great call, Gary. Appreciate it.
All right.
Take care.
People will be raising their hands during the concert, and you won't know why.
Exactly.
Of course, are you a citizen?
Yeah, let's take a call from Tom in Detroit. Wants to talk about Trump and Putin. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I think Putin wants to be dealing with Trump, not Hillary. Simply because when Hillary was Secretary of State, NATO was basically encircling on the southern border of Russia. They were putting, they called them anti-missile missiles, but, Putin, I even saw the interview where he said, look, we're not stupid. We know all you have to do is put new software on those and turn them around, and in 15 minutes, you have offensive missiles you can shoot at our country. And then in Ukraine, there was a deal to put a pipeline through there, and I think Hillary was getting kickbacks. Of course, I don't have any real evidence. It's, InfoWars was publishing a lot of stuff about it, and, they've been really right on about a lot of things. They were talking about Epstein way back during the election.
Can I ask you,
things. But I mean, I'm just saying that I think Hillary was trying to start World War III with Russia.
Oh, that's okay. That's what I'm asking you, because to my way of thinking, if Putin had anything on anybody, he had Hillary's emails in her server. He had blackmail. He knew about the Clinton Foundation. He had he knew about Epstein. Let's just say he knew about Epstein. He had stuff to hold over Hillary's head.
Which I believe is why he would prefer to have Hillary.
Which is why he'd prefer to have Hillary.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
well,
go ahead.
Trump is telling NATO